Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, today we are talking all about muscle nutrients. And that, by the way, doesn't mean we're talking only about protein. In fact, we are not going to be talking a lot about protein, but instead we're going to be talking about micronutrients that are absolutely essential to build and maintain healthy amount of muscle, or any amount of muscle that you'd like to build and maintain. Now, not so many people understand this statement that I just made. There are other nutrients besides protein that are essential, or basically without them, it's not possible to build muscle. So not so many people understand this statement fully. Not that many people are actually grasping it. So what I'm saying is, yeah, you can eat all the protein you want, you can lift all the heavy you want, but unless you are getting these micronutrients consistently and in the amounts that are sufficient for muscle building, unless you're getting them, you're not going to be building a lot of muscle. And in fact, if you are deficient in them, you're probably going to be losing muscle. So what are these nutrients? Well, first, let's address the protein. Protein is absolutely essential. Number one, you cannot build muscles if you are protein deprived or deficient. Basically, what it means is a lot of people have this double goal. I want to burn fat and I want to build muscle. And it's possible to be in a caloric deficit and still build muscle, if provided that you have enough fat to burn and all the other nutrients needed to burn fat to provide the energy needed for your workouts, for your life without destroying the muscle. But also, besides that, if you are in a caloric deficit, you need to make sure that you're eating enough, and in most cases more than enough protein, so your body doesn't get those calories that it's deficient in from your muscle tissue, because muscle tissue is very expensive to maintain. It is active. It requires calories. When you do nothing, it makes you burn more calories. And if your body senses, if your brain senses that there are not enough calories coming in on a regular basis, then it means that your body will try to save energy wherever it can. And that means maybe reducing muscle tissue. And to try to prevent that muscle tissue loss as much as possible, you want to continue weight training and you want to continue supplying enough protein no matter like how many calories you eat. So if you are trying to be in a calorie deficit, what you cannot do if you are interested in maintaining and building muscle is to get that deficit from protein. You never ever want to cut protein calories. That means that if you need, let's say, to eat 100 grams of protein and you start reducing your calories, you cannot eat less than 100 grams of protein. You can reduce your carbohydrates, your fats, but not the protein. If you need to eat 150 grams or 200 grams of protein, the same goes to those amounts. Like, if you're a female, you probably need somewhere around maybe 100, 120 grams. If you're a guy, especially if you're a taller guy, maybe 200, maybe even more. So those calories should not come from the amount of protein you consume. If you are interested, again, in building and maintaining muscle, obviously building will require more than maintenance. So that's number one. The second thing, not all the protein is created equal. You need certain amino acids or building blocks of protein, and some foods are just better. Animal foods usually, not usually, but are much better when it comes to supplying all the amino acids. A lot of plants are deficient in some of those amino acids that will not allow you to build and maintain muscles as effectively. So not all the protein is created equal. That's what I want you to understand. And also, even, you can do it on a plant-based diet, but not all of the protein powders, for example, if you're into that kind of stuff, not all of the plant-based protein powders are also created equal. Let's take rice or pea or a blend of them, or maybe pumpkin seed protein. They all have actually different amino acids, and you need to make sure that from your protein powder, you're getting all of them. Usually it is soy protein is complete, but it has other negative effects, might be not that good for some people. Some people might be allergic to that. Usually rice and pea blend protein would have all the amino acids you need. Other single sources, plant-based proteins usually do not have all the amino acids in most cases, more often than not. So you got to be really careful about the quality of the protein also, not just the amount, because you can be eating all the grams of protein that you need, but that protein might be missing some essential amino acids, and that will either not allow you to build muscles, or will make it much hotter, or will make it much slower, or just not as effective as it could be. So protein. So we talked about protein, that you need enough, to give you an idea of what's enough especially for building muscle. You want to get at least 2.2 multiplied by your ideal body weight in kgs. So for example, if I'm 52 kilos, I need to multiply 52 kilos by 2.2, and that's going to be somewhere around 110 grams of protein. So if I want to build muscle, not just maintain but build, I gotta be getting that on a daily basis, at least that. And then based on the results, whether I'm getting progress or not, I can adjust that amount. So that's about protein. Now there are two nutrients that are absolutely essential for building muscle. In fact, your body will not be able to build any muscle or even maintain good amount of muscle mass without these nutrients coming in on a regular basis. In fact, your body might start reassembling or destroying your muscle tissue to get enough of those nutrients in your bloodstream needed for other processes that are more vital than maintaining lean body mass or your muscle. So I'm talking about zinc and magnesium. Those two micronutrients, those two minerals are required to make proteins in our body. If not all of them, then most of them. These are required to make muscle tissue. These are required to build muscles. In fact, again, if you are deficient in this zinc and magnesium, if you are not getting optimal amount on a regular basis, and building muscle will require more of them, then if you aren't getting them, you're not going to be building anything, no matter how much protein you're going to eat. And is it possible to be deficient in them while eating all of that protein? Yes, because these nutrients, zinc and magnesium, come in specific foods, and not all foods would contain them or would contain adequate amount for building muscles. Now, I'm not going to give you, exact milligrams, how much you need, because you're not going to remember that anyhow, and you're not going to remember how much in each food you have. It's just going to be too complicated. But you want to remember one thing: zinc, magnesium are required to make proteins, and proteins are not required just to build muscles, but also to make hormones, to make neurotransmitters, or those things that our nerve cells use to communicate. A lot of processes in building, rebuilding, maintaining our DNA, cell structures. We require proteins for all of these purposes. And as you can imagine, these purposes, cellular maintenance mechanism, DNA replication, that we need to do every time our cells divide, our neurons or nerve cells need to communicate to make any process in the body happen, creating different hormones. Those processes are more important for the body than to build your muscles. Just I want you to really understand this, that building muscles is not the priority for your body. All these other processes like nerve cell communication, cellular regeneration, creating certain hormones or neurotransmitters, all these come before all of the muscle building processes, right? And so if you are getting some zinc and magnesium, but not getting sufficient amount for building muscle, then your body not going to be using zinc and magnesium that you are getting for muscle building. Your body going to be using them for all the other vital processes. And that's why athletes, especially athletes into bodybuilding, they almost always supplement with zinc, magnesium. There is even this popular supplement, ZMA. You can look it up in any online supplement store that you're using, like Amazon or anywhere. So it's quite popular because scientists know for, many years now that zinc, magnesium required for muscle regeneration, recovery, building. And then also ZMA has B6 that is needed to use the energy stored as glycogen for workouts and for physical efforts. So that's why it's also very popular, because athletes usually need more of that than regular folks like you and me, right? So anyhow, zinc and magnesium, not optional if you're trying to build and maintain muscle. And again, in fact, if you are deficient and not getting them, your body will start to reconstruct your muscle, destroy it, and use those nutrients for zinc, magnesium that sometimes are in those muscle tissue for other processes in your body. So you really want to make sure that you are getting them. And why a lot of people might be in a state of deficiency or inadequate or getting inadequate amount on a daily basis is because those nutrients, zinc and magnesium, they do not come in all of the foods. Let's take zinc, for example. It's, I think it's the hardest to get for a lot of people. You can get zinc from oysters. If you eat 2 oysters, you're going to get 120% of your daily need or so, depending on you. I'm talking about like myself right now when I'm talking about percentage needed, right? So if you're a bigger guy, you'll need like more. I'm 50 kilos. Basically, if you're around 100, then you'll probably need twice the amount that I'm talking about. And if you're a woman somewhere of that size, then you'll probably need the same. So 2 oysters, right? Sounds like doable enough, but if you're not into oysters or they're hard to get, like for me, for example, then it's not an option really. So the next thing, quite common for a lot of people, red meat. But then here you need to eat about 250 grams of meat to just get about 80% of your daily zinc. Now, with all this vegan and vegetarian fashion, people aren't getting really that much red meat, although some people do. Not saying it's impossible, but as a female, for example, you'll need to get probably around 300 grams of red meat on a daily basis. And I want to mention that any sort of dark meat or beef or any cut that contains zinc, the leaner the cut, the more zinc you're going to get. The fattier it is, the less zinc you're going to get, because zinc is concentrated in the lean tissue, right? So red meat, can you imagine, like 300 grams every day? You need to commit to that. Things like mussels and shellfish in general, quite good source of zinc. Let's take mussels, one of my favorite foods ever, for many reasons, omega-3s and a lot of different minerals like iron that also a lot of people are deficient in. Anyhow, mussels, 250 grams, 50% of your daily zinc. Now, if we look at some plant-based sources, there is a problem. With plant-based sources, zinc is mostly concentrated in things like seeds, nuts, beans. So let's take pumpkin seeds, for example, quite good source of zinc on paper. So 1 ounce or 30 grams of pumpkin seeds would have 20% of your zinc, right? But that zinc is bound to fibers. Your body has to break down fibers to get that zinc, and usually it's quite a hard job, and not all of the people's digestive systems can handle that effectively. Also, pumpkin seeds and other zinc sources, plant-based zinc sources like beans, for example, they contain antinutrients or certain phytonutrients that will bind zinc and take it out of your system. And that's why for people who rely solely on those sources to get their zinc, it is recommended to at least double the amount of zinc. So to give you an idea, you'll need to hit your zinc requirements, doubling it, you'll need to eat like 300 grams of pumpkin seeds. And that's also quite a lot of, food and calories. And some scientists say that you might not be able to get all that zinc at all, and you will need like 100-fold the amount of zinc to actually get it from those plants. That's how effective those antinutrients or different phytocompounds, how effective they are at binding zinc and getting it out of your system. So if you are not into a lot of not a lot, some oysters every day, or mussels and red meat and other animal sources of zinc, lean cuts of or brown meat of most animals would have zinc. But again, beef is the richest source, and then the rest, it's really not that much. So unless you're eating like meat every day, all day long, you're not going to be getting the amount of zinc you need. So I highly suggest, if you consider any supplements, consider zinc. I always take mineral supplement, just because I know that no matter how good you manage your diet, it's not going to be optimal every day for the amount of nutrients. You need to optimize your performance and your body composition. And I like to also have things a little bit easier. That's why I take and recommend zinc supplements, because I don't want myself and I don't want you to feel like it's your job to eat that much mussels, or every day you have to have oysters, or you gotta have a lot of meat or red meat or tons of pumpkin seeds. That's why I supplement. It's much easier. And it's best to distribute that zinc supplement. Like I have my mineral complex that has 3 pills, and I usually take one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening. Zinc doesn't have to be taken, and minerals usually don't have to be taken with any food. So you can just take them with water. So take zinc, and especially if you are interested in building your muscles and maintaining, you probably need to, the bigger you are, the more zinc you will need. And if you are in that active muscle building stage in your like fitness journey, then you probably want to double daily requirements of that zinc, and distributing it works better for many other reasons too. So zinc, one of those nutrients that it's essential, guys. You will not be able to build and maintain lean body without zinc. So just kind of like put it in your mind and let it stay there forever, because zinc, that the zinc requirement is never going to change. And the older we are, the more important it is to maintain muscle mass, the harder it's going to get to maintain muscle mass. And so you need zinc. Just get into this idea that you most probably will need to supplement if you're interested in maintaining lean body mass, optimal lean body weight. For me, I think it's so easy to stay lean because I know those things, I know these things, and I practice them. And that's why my body, when I'm trying to get lean, it doesn't lose much muscle at all. And no matter how much I fast, making sure that, I eat adequate amounts of good quality foods at other times and maintain optimal nutrition, I also supplement on top. And that's why I think lean body composition for me got so easy, because now I know all these things and I practice them. So anyhow, second muscle building micronutrient that you cannot do without: magnesium. Again, needed to create, if not all, then most of the proteins. And those proteins, again, they are needed for many other reactions in our body, and muscle building is not one of those one of those processes that the body will prioritize for. There are other functions like nerve communication, like DNA, healthy DNA maintenance while reproducing different cells and structures in our bodies, hormones. There are so many things, digestive enzymes to actually get nutrients from our food. All of these other processes will require magnesium. And if you are not getting enough of it, the body will prioritize the amount that you are getting in your foods. The body will prioritize that amount for all of those other processes, not for muscle building, but to make muscle tissue, the body also needs magnesium. So you do need to consume enough and probably more. We don't really know what's the higher limit of magnesium from foods is and what is optimal. So bottom line, you need to be getting magnesium too, just like zinc, if you're interested in building muscles and maintaining clean body mass. Now, where are we getting our magnesium? So here it is a little bit easier with zinc. It's not as difficult. For example, 80 grams of spinach or Swiss chard, 80 grams will give you about 20% of your magnesium. Dried cod, 50 grams is about 20% of your magnesium. Pumpkin seeds are actually quite amazing source of magnesium. Just 30 grams, 1 ounce of those pumpkin seeds will not just deliver you some zinc, but also will deliver you 56% of magnesium. Peanuts, 30 grams, 20% of your magnesium. Cashews, about 26% in 30 grams. With nuts and seeds, again, there is this issue of fibers and phytochemicals that will bind some of that magnesium and take it out of your system. But a lot of it, magnesium seems to be not as sensitive to those phytonutrients and anti-nutrients in plants. So getting magnesium from nuts and seeds, especially pumpkin seeds, right? 30 grams is 56%, is quite a good way to get your magnesium. Leafy greens, very little calories. So you eat like 80 grams of your spinach and Swiss chard 2 times a day, and you're getting already 40 grams of magnesium. Not all greens have a lot of magnesium. Usually leafy greens would have more magnesium because things like broccoli, for example, have very little. Rice has surprisingly good amount of magnesium too. 150 grams is about 20% of your magnesium. So as you can see, a lot of foods would have a good amount of magnesium. So you're less likely to get that deficient as you can get with zinc. But because a lot of people are starting to eat all of this highly processed, refined, unbalanced diets, because a lot of people are removing a lot of foods from their diets. A lot of people are not eating a lot of vegetables or nuts and seeds because of many reasons, right? A lot of people can also get deficient or at least get the bare minimum, and then there is nothing left for muscle building, and that can be the reason why you can't build muscles. You can be just simply deficient in magnesium. And that's why also I recommend to eat all of these foods, the spinach, Swiss chard, and other leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, peanuts, cashews, rice, if you like rice. Meats and fish especially would have some magnesium. So eat whole food diet rich in different foods, and you're probably going to be getting quite a lot of magnesium. With zinc, again, very specific foods to get all of your zinc. That's why with zinc specifically, you want to be supplementing. I also recommend supplementing with magnesium. I take magnesium before going to bed, 30 minutes before going to bed, about 350 milligrams. It makes sleep quality so much better. I experimented. I know that it works, and it works for many people, especially if you are already deficient in magnesium. So anyhow, magnesium, zinc, guys, besides the obvious, eating your high quality protein in sufficient amounts, you do need zinc, magnesium, and probably if you are trying to build muscles, most probably you need to supplement. This supplement, ZMA, is a good one to look up because it has zinc, it has magnesium, and B6 that will help your body to get energy from your stores for your workouts when you're actually going to be doing the work needed to build that muscle. And that's about it for today, guys. It was an episode of muscle building nutrients. And again, besides the protein, there are also these two nutrients, zinc and magnesium, that are essential, simply essential for building and maintaining a lean body mass. And most probably, at least one of them, zinc, you're not getting enough, not sufficient amounts, and most people are not getting enough magnesium either. So I highly recommend you to look into supplementation if you're interested in building and maintaining your lean body for many years ahead of you. It's just smarter nutrition, smarter way of doing things. If you want to make your job harder, then you don't have to eat these foods or supplement. But if you want to actually get to your goals of more lean body mass, then this is what you do. You make sure that you are getting enough zinc and magnesium. So please let me know if this episode was useful to you. Please share this episode with another person who is trying to build muscle. Maybe you're going to the gym with this person and you're both working on this goal of building more muscle and maintaining a leaner body. Then share, learn together, and maybe, sign up for some oyster deal together so you get your oysters every day, the best source of zinc ever. Look into this supplement. And guys, as usual, no matter whether you decide to get more zinc and magnesium or not, whether you're trying to build muscles or not, as usual, till next time, eat better daily.